What's going on, everybody? It is DJ and Alec. Another solo episode for you. I know it's weird. We don't have a guest on. It's just us. And if you want to click out of here because it's just us and you don't want to hear us,
Wow.
go ahead.
It's messed up.
But we would think that you'd come back time and time again to see us. So, yeah.
Yeah, me and DJ were kind of talking about like, all right, what do we want to do in this episode? Last episode, you guys got the resources and we kind of gave you the keys and the tools to help when you're down, help when you're in a tough spot, just things you can use to talk and get out of your own head, essentially. This episode, we're kind of going to get vulnerable a little bit. We've talked about this stuff on this episode, on the podcast. I think it's been a while since we've actually gone deep into it. But because it is Men's Mental Health Month and because this is our final solo episode of the month, we decided that we're just gonna kind of give, I guess people would say it's our testimony a little bit, but it's gonna sound weird, but it's our suicide stories. It's just, you guys know our background. We both went through really dark spots in our lives. And I don't think we've just spelled out the entire story and just come out and just made a whole episode on our why and our reasoning behind things. I don't know if you want to go first. You want me to go first? We can kind of just get into things.
Yeah. So for me, a really dark point in life came when life should be full of joy. And I guess like that's one thing to note. Like depression doesn't favor situations. So you can get into this mode like I should be joyful right now. Don't be hard on yourself. Depression isn't saying I'll wait until joy shouldn't be present. No, a lot of times depression is in moments where joy should be present, and you're going to feel this disconnect like, wait, why? Why am I not like present? Why am I not joyful? And so for me, it was when Nate was born. And a lot of you guys know that later, probably a year after he was born, I got my diagnosis of ADHD, and that helped a ton. But up until that point, I had been going through life shoving things down. I was taught at a very early age, especially by my mom, that this is how we deal with things. When dad yells, when dad throws things and breaks things, we just shove it down. I remember my mom would scratch her arms until they bled, pushing stuff down, inflicting pain onto yourself. Yeah. So what did I do? Well, when things got tough and dark and I shoved things down, there have been quite a few times that I would hit the wall as hard as I could to where my fists and my hands were hurting. I would hit my head multiple times. This is just how I learned how to deal with things. And so by the point Nate was born, I bet if I say that when you have your first child or when you have your first and second child, whatever, when you have children, it's either you exit from their life and don't deal with the crap, or, which a lot of good dads do, they want to be present, so you have to deal with the crap. It brings everything to a head. And I didn't know what was going on with my brain. I got sensory overload. Nate was crying. Life was a little bit more stressful. We have a kid that we have to provide for. This is also during COVID. So like the world was all kinds of different. Nobody knew what was going to happen the next day or happen the next month. And so it was just a bunch of uncertainty and all of that. I remember getting to a point where like I just decided that I didn't want to live anymore. Just decided that people would be better off without me, that like my own child doesn't deserve that I yell and I explode and I, have a brain that feels like it's jacked up, and I just feel like I'm just going to do more damage than good. And yeah, I thought about multiple ways. I thought about the one way of, um, is it carbon monoxide poisoning? That was probably the easiest accessible way of doing things. I thought about that quite a bit. It did cross my mind to, I mean, firearms are something that is one of the most common ways that people kill themselves. And I, they're accessible and, anybody can buy them. So it went through my head. But I remember kind of what kind of pulled me out is I was really thinking about it one night, like really wanting to do it. I just remember Nate had to be, I don't know, 6 months old, 7 months old, maybe. And I just remember he kept wanting me. Like, I don't know, like, you're spiritual, you're not spiritual. For me, I am spiritual, and I felt like God was saying in that moment, like, he was using Nate to say, stay. He was using Nate to say, like, your child actually wants you. And like today, Nate and I, today is June 14th. We're recording a couple episodes today. Anyways, today Nate is super excited to go on a date with me. And I think about times where I wanted to, and these are the times that I would miss. And anytime that I got to the bottom, and I have, like, again, depression isn't, it can be a lifelong thing, guys. There may be times where everything is good, and then there's times where it just comes flooding back, and you feel like, you need to reach out, and you feel like you're in dark places again. But every time I've ever gotten close to being in dark places again, I just think about the times I'm going to miss with my kids. Like, I won't be here, and I won't get to spend time with them, and I won't get to see them graduate, or I won't get to see the big milestones in their life, or be at their sporting events if they play sports, or, be at their dancing recitals, or just everything that I'm going to miss because I'm not here. And like these moments, like when Nate is saying that he wants to go on like he's excited to go on a date with me today, or when I took Rylan to Chick-fil-A, they had a daddy daughter date night there, and they gave us a rose and did a Polaroid picture. Like, she was super excited to go on a date with me, and then super excited after the fact. Like, she talks about it. We actually took her on a date. I took her on a date to Burger King to get some ice cream, play on the play place in there. And every time we drive by that Burger King, she's like, Daddy, that's where we went on a date. Like, super excited. So, yeah, these are the moments that pulled me out of the darkness. These are the moments, and this is my story. This is a part of me. I used to be ashamed of talking about these things. I used to be like, I wouldn't tell anybody that I would hit a wall or hit my head or physically harm myself because, like, I didn't know how to deal with these emotions that were coming up. And the only way to shove them down was to hurt myself. Um, cause physical pain so the emotional pain would go away. Little did I know that emotional pain never goes away. It's just always there, and will come flooding back at random moments. And we kind of talked about an episode that's coming out in July. We kind of talked about it with our guest, when these things come up. Like, we thought maybe you thought you dealt with them, and they just come flooding back and they affect those around you. And so, yeah, here's my story. Take it for what you will. Hopefully, it's hope that you can make it through. It doesn't last forever, um, but I needed to do a lot of work on myself. And it's an uphill battle, but not an impossible battle.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
It's a sucky battle. Definitely it's a sucky battle because it's a hard thing to go through. All right, my turn, I guess. I'm gonna make everyone cry. I guess. I mean, I was perfect. I was the ideal society guy. Just had it perfect. No, you guys know my backstory. I grew up with my stepdad. My real dad wasn't there. And because of that, it's like, I think I feel it a lot. It's like, well, why did I still feel like I was alone, even though my stepdad was there? But it's like, you want that. You want your real dad to want you, you know? Um, and so growing up with that on my shoulder and then becoming a dad and not really knowing what I was getting into, um, we moved to California when my daughter was 1 and my son had just turned 3. And so from going around in Vegas where we had DJ and Jasmine, we had grandparents, we had family, and we had help, to then being alone in California, not knowing anybody, people being hours away. So if we did need help, it wasn't going to come anytime soon. Um, it started me on this path of defeat, I guess. That's the best word I can think of. And you just feel tired. And then moving here, I went through a few different jobs and trying to like figure out where I fit and what would be good. And like, should I work days or nights? Because my wife worked days. And then I found a job. I won't talk about it because I'm legally not okay to. um, I found a job I really liked. It was in the tech industry. Really, really cool job, really, really cool guys to work with. And I honestly, I've been working myself up to where I was a manager in the company and we're killing it. And literally on Friday, I was talking to Karina, my wife, about how I was probably the happiest I've been in my life. We were financially okay. We had a nice place. We still have a nice place. I shouldn't say that we had. Our kids were both going to daycare, like stupid expensive daycare, guys. Like I'll toot my own horn a little bit. Like they were in like a really nice place. We were good, really, really, really good. Worked our butts off to get where we were in life. And then on Monday, no warning, the company shut down. They're like, "Oh, come get your stuff. We're closing up everything. We're selling all the stuff in the company. We're just gone." And so from going every day, seeing all these dudes that I loved hanging out with, loved you get along with, and you just kind of build that brotherhood. Shout out to Rude Brother, that's where we're building it. And then being at home 24/7 by myself for the most part, and you get in your own head. And when the Bible it talks about how the enemy attacks when you're alone, that's exactly what happened. Because every thought, like, what do I do? What do I do? Is like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get a new job and I'll just be fine. Y'all, it's been 4 years, 3 years, and I still don't have a job. Why? Because the economy sucks. We won't talk about that right now, though. But and so because of the feeling of not being wanted from companies, which brought back all the crap from not being wanted from my dad, I started to get into this mental space where I was just like, shoot, like I'm bringing nothing to the table financially. I thought this is the issue is I thought I was not bringing anything to the table when it came to parenting, which I was. We'll get into that in a minute. And you start spiraling and spiraling. And you just, when you're at home by yourself and you just, every possibility comes to your head. And so I was like, well, if I'm not doing anything to help anybody and no one wants me around, I'll just kind of not be here anymore. And so I had thought about, I'm the chef in my house. And so I've got a lot of knives. I was like, it could have been real easy to slip while I'm cooking. It could have been real easy to disappear while no one's home, you know? Like the same thing DJ said, like I got a garage downstairs. It could have been real easy. Um, and it sucks to like go back and think about it. Like I had thought about writing a suicide note to my wife. And the most messed up part about it is like from the time me and my wife started dating to even now, I wrote her one a couple days ago. We write love letters to each other. Not, I mean, I don't think anybody knows this about us because it's just our thing. But I'll write her name. There's a certain way I write her name on the top of it, fold it up. I write something cute in the note. But like, can you imagine waking up in the morning? This is from my wife's perspective, thinking you're getting a love letter, and it's your husband telling you like, "Hey, sorry, I'm gonna kill myself." Like that's messed up. Like you take something so innocent and you just destroy it. Like, and so I sat in my room, I cried. I was like, I can't do this to her. So you kind of push through. And like DJ said, depression, it doesn't stop. Like I go through, like last week, I was having a hard week and it's like, I feel like even our podcast is killing it right now. Like, I feel like we're doing nothing, and I feel like we're just like nothing's happening. Anyways, and so I didn't want to ruin that for her, so that kind of kept me going. And then I was at a breaking point. I broke down to her. I was like, listen, if we didn't have kids, if I didn't have you, I would not be here. Like, I would be, I'd be gone. I would have killed myself a while ago. I just feel useless, and I just feel like garbage. Like, there's no one wants me. And so she just talked to me. She's like, we do want you and stuff. And then a couple weeks went by, and I just kind of got worse. And she's like, Alec, listen, you don't have to talk to me about it, but I need you to get help. And so that day, like, it was a rough day. And then I went and picked my daughter from school. And I've talked about this a little bit, but we're walking around school, and just out of nowhere, like, she was 5 at the time. It's like, I want a new dad. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you're not a good dad. Like, kids are brutally honest, and it sucked. Like, it just broke me. I was like, okay, well, this is the lowest. I thought I was low a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do it. And now I'm just getting beaten, beaten, beaten. And so that day was the day I kind of was like, screw it, I'm done. I'm not done life wise. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I had to figure out my life. And I think like a month or two later is when we started the podcast, and we started getting things out and talking through. The issue, guys, is no one wants to talk about things. And if you want to take anything from my story, it's talk to people. Because I started going to counseling and getting it out. I started talking to DJ about things. And just, if you don't have a friend, like me and DJ have known each other for our whole lives, we know when something's wrong with each other. If you don't have that, reach out to someone. Like, I'd use BetterHelp, and it's there. It's a resource. People want to talk to you to help you. Talk to us. Like, we want to help you out. We're not telling you our stories for pity, because we don't want it. We're telling you our stories because we want to use what we've learned coming out of our trauma, coming out of our crap, to maybe help you come out of yours. Because it's hard. When you're in those places, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, you don't see the good stuff at the end of the tunnel. I should say light at the end of the tunnel, because you don't see the future. You just see, well, it's never gonna stop. And that's the hardest thing to do, is get out of that mindset and change it to go, okay, how do I fix this? And like DJ said, depression doesn't favor the situation, because you can go through an amazing day. Like, you could be having a birthday, or you could be having the best day of your life, and be in the worst season of your life. So I say that just to help you guys. Just, if you feel any of that, if you feel like you're going through any of that situation of me and DJ have gone through, just talk to people, guys. Like, when we say we love you, like, it's not just like, oh, love you. Like, we genuinely want to help you, and we genuinely love you, because we want to see you succeed and be the man your wife and the husband or the dad your kids need. Like, we want to see you at your full potential. Like, you guys, it's June, and we've said it a lot. 40% of men deal with depression and suicidal thoughts. Men, or I think it's the same. It's like 40 to 60% higher of killing themselves than women. Because women, they talk about everything, y'all. Like, if that's something we can take from them, let's just talk about it. We're so in our own heads about things, and like, society has beaten us to a point where it's like, oh, well, you can't talk about anything. You just have to hold everything in. You have to be tough. You have to be a man, which I think it's more manly, and it shows how mature and tough you are by actually talking about things, because that is way harder than just holding it in. And so, like, talk about it. That's the best thing I say, is just get it out. Yeah.
Yep. I to reiterate what Alec is saying, communication. Here's what I do. I dare you right now to communicate to somebody how you're feeling and what's going on inside. And I bet, like, I can put some money down on this, that when you talk to somebody, part of that burden you'll feel be lifted. Almost like you feel like for the first time in a very long time, you could take a breath. Like, it doesn't feel like it's so heavy, and it doesn't feel like it's so weighed down. Like, you feel like you're popping up a little bit. Like, I can breathe. My lungs are open. And I'm telling you, once you get just a tidbit of that feeling, you're like, I see why they say communicate. I see why they say talk to somebody. And get this, we literally started talking to each other about this. Then we started having guests on our podcast, and we started talking to them about this. I'm telling you, everybody, like all these men that we've had on, they have gone through similar struggles. And we started to realize, oh, it's not just us. We're not broken. It's just life. Life hits you. And especially when up until this point, and I think our generation and the generations after us are really pushing mental health and really wanting to get to a healthy spot, all areas, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like you talk about it, we want to get really healthy, and we're starting to do what's right for our children versus our parents. They just kept rolling with what they were taught. And then their parents before them were just rolling with what they were taught. And then, that cycle, that generational curse or generational cycle, however you want to look at it, just keeps on going. But now that we have kids, we're like, we don't want the same thing for them. We don't want the same crap that we had to deal with. So everything comes up, life happens. It's time to deal with it. It's time to rise up and become the version of yourself that you deserve, the version of yourself that your kids deserve, the version of yourself that your spouse deserves. And, once you've created this nuclear family, like this is what is most important. Forget about hurting your parents' feelings because you were hurt by them and you don't want to tell them that you were hurt by them. If that affects your relationship with them, there's something wrong with them. There's something that they haven't dealt with. But don't let it affect you. You get it out. You say, Mom, Dad, this is how I felt. I talk about this all the time. I told my dad, you made me feel unsafe when I was a kid. If that affected our relationship, so be it. But that was the truth.
Well, that's
And
you
guess what?
fixing your healing. That's you giving yourself healing too. So
Give yourself permission to heal by, just tell the truth. Because now your responsibility, and the episode that's coming out in July, we talked about this. Your responsibility now is to your spouse and to your kids. Like that is, and part of that is getting the healing that you need. So yeah, we're here for you.
we talked about a little bit with Tanner from the New Therapy. He's talked about tools, having a tool belt. We're men, we want to fix things, right? So use the resources we've provided, use the resources from everywhere else, fix things. Like we want to fix those generational curses that our parents, and listen, this is nothing against our parents because they didn't know. We didn't know. It's just we live in a time in society where people are speaking out about things now. And why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? Fix your life, fix your family, fix your relationships. It's hard and it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's worth it. 100%.
100%. Guys, we love you. Truly, if you're listening for this for the first time, this is the podcast you stumbled upon, and like maybe you've had these thoughts, whatever, and you're like, they don't really know me. They can't love me. I am telling you, there has not been a person. I may not like people. Like there's times where I don't like them. All right. But I genuinely care and love people. And even if I met you for the first time, I would tell you, I love you. We had a pastor on, and this is a pastor that Alec and I grew up with, and he always said this, and he got it from a pastor. But he said, I love you, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if something rings so true in both our lives, is that very saying. That saying probably, I can speak for myself, and Alec will probably agree if this is for him, but from that pastor, that line alone impacted me the most. Like somebody actually cares, loves me, God loves me, and there's nothing that I can do to ever change that. And that's how we live our lives. We want this is why we build this community, because we love you guys. We feel like we know God loves you, and like literally nothing you can do about it. So take that. There is somebody who cares about you. There is somebody who wants to see you live and stay another day, stay another year, 15, 20, 30 years. We want you to continue living and not succumb to the dark thoughts that you're having, because those are temporary. We'll help you get to the place where you can, we're not therapists or anything, but we're building a community where we can stand side by side with you in the thick of the battle and fight some of the demons with you, um, and get you to the point where you can get to a therapist and they can take you the distance that you need to go to get healthy. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, we hope this helped you guys. Like I said, it's not a sob story. We don't want pity. We just want to show you guys that, like, we all go through things. They might be a little different, but for the most part, we all go through a lot of the same stuff. So I did just say we love you guys, and we hope you're going to love this. If you guys aren't already following, please follow, subscribe, all the things. Share with people that you know need to hear this. Yeah. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Later.
Peace.